Yeah.
Who the fuck is dude, boys? Who is check his fucking pockets? Matter of fact, take his gun, check his bag block so much we already know where to run to. Switch on a Glock the way it pop, look, think I brung to.
Hey, duty low. Mix some cheese one more time, we gon' get duty low. Okay. You can diesel looking bitch, that don't leave no road. Every city that we in, we bullet right.
Go ahead, you know this. Go ahead, out. Hey, well,
I don't want no auto that speak. Man, I hope you break that beat. When it's beef, bitch, I'm not the one. I really keep my pick up in the street. Let me have his gun name. Yeah, when you talk about it, nigga be mentioning three and get dropped out. He see me in the cut, so I popped out his gun plane. Was selling his chain. Word this switch, nigga, we ain't got an aim. We got hit in the head, he ain't feel no pain. We ain't gotta say no name. You know how we bleed when it comes to the game.
When I catch him, that's okay. We say shit like Tom Terry. Robert Sass like Jesse Day. Number 3, legendary. Play with him, cemetery. Keep my chest fine with me, that's my secretary, bitch.
I bet I get it. I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I'm feeling great. This how we coming. Yeah.
At Kroger, no matter where you order free pickup, you get the same great deals as you get in store. So you can save when you order during band practice, or at the dog park, or wherever. Start your cart with the Kroger app and save from wherever today. Kroger, fresh for everyone. $35 order minimum.
This nigga stop moving, bro.
Choose from a great selection of digital coupons and use them up to 5 times in one transaction. Check our app for details.
Let that go wide open.
Fresh for everyone.
Fuck.
At University of Phoenix,
You let that go wide open.
we feel that your experience can help you earn a competency-based master's in less than a year.
Give me the ball. Give me the ball.
Stop thinking. Start doing.
I know I was lost.
Phoenix,
If you kept leaving that boy wide open. Bro, I can't, bro, the least I can do is stop him from shooting a 3, bro. I can't do nothing else. That's the least I can do. Everybody should be thinking the same thing.
Like 16 with a red beam when you really do shit, bro, got a new blick. And it's your blue tip, bitch better watch your look. Pop out the side wheel, watch nigga dip. Pop out the swag straight like a nigga dip. When it just crashed, but I got a new whip. Let a nigga try to possess the whip. My whip don't play till I face fake. My boy can't wait, straight slam with the Drake. Fuck you, I'm getting hit your everything cake. I ain't think shit, I don't watch what I say. Hit a block, straight like which way? Bust left, finna take a new way. Chase never crash, rippin' like a DJ. Shoot a nigga out like Ruffy Heat, baby. I don't give a fuck, I don't care what he say. I don't care what she say, boy, you got space. So PC like Ken, never shot my way. Got a Glock from the bay, DJ like, hey, give me that. They know we take, we go. Better than he sweet boy, he like cake. He make 2 shots from the Drake, so I'm left like 10. Run up in the house, straight up coming in. Don't know, don't spin. Reach your end. 2 10 5, surprise swings. First place, ace win. We chase, top better get your man. Me, cause I got sins. Hail to the king of the trap. So spin cash on his flank like fat, like that. When I come, I walk with the strap. When guys are rapping, the obstacle nap. Face shots, yeah, never wake up. Red dots, shorty got laser. High speed on tour, time to a racer. The way shoot shit could've been a wake up. Long range shoot shit. Like 16 with a red beam, and you really do shit. Don't got a new blick. In the shell's boot tip.
Hey, he just like, hey.
Come out the side, yeah, watch nigga dip.
Just
crash, but I got a new whip. Let a nigga try to possess the whip.
Hey.
I stay safe. Hey, I really don't play till I stay safe.
I stay safe, dude. Nah, they. Hold on, bro. Okay. I just be, when I be trying to, see, this is why I be always tearing up the rap. And when I'm trying to do that shit, I'm trying to do that shit for, I'm picturing the crowd singing this verse that I'm writing down. You see what I'm saying? And if that shit ass, bro, it's gotta go. I'm sorry. I'm not making the music for me. I'm trying to make that shit for the crowd. 20,000 motherfuckers. I ain't even gotta be singing the words. I'm gonna say like this with the mic. You know how the niggas do that shit, you feel me? Nigga, that's love for real, nigga.
And I got raw in the bitch. Fucking hoes, we fucking up the ditch. We running up pitches. The state, they let me menace. Lost Troy, I'm standing on dick. 3 nails in your box, cut kill. The pain, I really don't fit. The rain, I really don't fit. Man, you niggas don't care. Lost shield, it's a whole different business. My niggas that became a bitch. The fake trying to take on a flick. But we already know that he innocent. Dirt got book, he was innocent. I'm stepping on niggas, ain't similar. Bitch, I got rain like the Wimbledon. Fucking don't plug no gwendolyn. Taking out the plug in the middle, man. Bitch, I'm a killer, man. Sound like a mannequin. Like a bitch, sound like an ambulance. They follow no running and sterling. You play with your life, then you gambling. I move like a motherfucker president. All these pussy ass rappers irrelevant. When I go to the club, they meddling. Any nigga try to play, they be shoveling. He ain't making what the dog keep telling him. The shit is burning the top. The shit is burning the top. The shit is burning the top.
Woo!
The shit is burning the top.
That shit is deep.
The shit is burning the top. He ain't making what the dog keep telling him. The shit is burning the top.
What happened?
See, I was in the streets in the middle of the people, most niggas my age ain't come outside. And I was packing heat, it was my niggas scream, I was making niggas freeze in the summertime. Some nigga gon' relate with this side of the house, top nigga, your brother, your mom's side. I'm the first nigga in the time to ride.
Clip. That boy got a clip on him.
That's just me, but that's just me.
Look like.
Won't call no peace, I won't lose no sleep, won't lose no sleep. That's just me, but that's just me. Won't duck no beat, won't call no peace, I won't lose no sleep, won't lose no sleep. I was up in jail, shit money down. Hard time, I'm thinking about homicide. No crime, I be out by the summertime. All my thug, I be like a drunk. Crib in the record on me. My brother on me, I'm a drunk. Gotta wipe the gun off, you know that you touch. Gotta wipe the gun off, you know that you touch.
If you're white, bro, make sure do his white jack. Stop getting in a dark shade. He's a white guy, and we love white guys, Jack. We love you. Thank you. Alright, who is that really good? Zachary, stop your shack. One more pass, one more pass.
Clicking up, thing, you know what I mean? You can see yourself, say to yourself, trust nobody. Trust nobody. You know what I mean? My closest friends, my closest friends, my homies, people I done took care of their whole family. I done took care of everything, when they missed out, when they put them in the game, everything. Turned on. Fear is stronger than love. Remember that. Fear is stronger than love. All the love I gave didn't mean nothing when it came to fear. So it's all good. But I'm a soldier, I always survive. I constantly come back. You know what I mean? Only thing that can kill me is death.
You don't know how I feel when I lost my brother. Niggas be toxic, I ain't gon' let them. They know it's kid when they slide. I always fuck the other side.
That was tough.
Me and mine. Pop me an X, wanna die. Play with the gang, it's suicide. Me and Tavo ain't evil twins, but we popped out with 2 different gyms. We get excited, come back like, yeah, that nigga, that was me who popped him. We slide back to back, don't count. Niggas never did shit to us. We was already on the block, nigga. We was so sick and drunk. We was shooting shit for fun. You don't know how I feel when I lost my brother.
That's the sweetest thing about it.
They know it's kid when we slide. I always fuck the other side. Check me back, me and mine. Pop me an X, wanna die. Play with the gang, it's
You don't know if you green until it go in.
Lost psycho, I ain't know how to feel. Lost my little bit, shit got real. I was supposed to live night, we was in the field. This bitch on the X, we was really trying to kill. Then I started running, getting bread, then I chill. Now I'm at church, trying to send for a meal. This is not a nigga, get you pop like a bitch, holding up pole. Walk when they say cracking seals. Man, it's at the top, we ain't Cali coming here, no seal. Come back to the right for the trail. Ain't worry about the chase, the chase got the window. You know it's fuck to us, you can't understand. Ride with the time, I see like I'm a bill. Ride with the gas, like having a hand. Riding this whip, well, you better not tell me, nigga. Who you go finish that shit? I don't know how I feel when I lost my brother. Niggas be toxic, I ain't gon' let them. They know it's kid when we slide. I always fuck the other side. Take me back, me and mine. Pop me an X, wanna die. Play with the gang, it's suicide. Me and Tavo ain't evil twins. Got everybody ain't evil twins.
I am ass. On stream, bro. On stream, bro.
I had one watcher. That motherfucking gone.
He said, I got one watcher. He's gone.
Listen, there's plenty niggas from my city who are bitchin' niggas shot on me. Don't want smoking me, don't make sense. I'm popping out, we can sit in blocks, stand up, flip, fall the brain, 23, the rich girl, the bully kid. I got power like that nigga 50, sliding, I go go. We been packing shit, reason why they cool me at the stove. It's so pissed, I call up J-Rock, niggas know we do the most. If J-Rock say that nigga dead, then he get us for my own when it's time to spin. Look girl in the back, no shoe box, nigga, I'm OD. I say slash, slash, I just beat it, give him back up. Then I shoot him in the back. You ain't from my block if you don't know most of them niggas. Let's go, 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 go. Hey, pass my time.
That's what you do. That's what you choose to do. That's what you choose to do, buddy.
Melly in that cutty, man, it's here that we ain't see them. BG coming home, they gon' be had it when they free him. I ain't pissed off, I'm trying to rob who call my PM. Bitch, I'm from the trench, don't give a fuck who in your DM. Yeah. I don't mention broke niggas. I was like, man, no D, he a problem. That nigga smoke niggas. Told the case, so go get some money. He was the broke niggas. And breakfast time, they be on them early trying to push those niggas.
Get the fucking rebound.
Speed out, hold on, Mel, I think he's still in sight. In the bushes, think I'm cheating, cause he's with the knife. Face shot for every last nigga. I shot him twice. Kidnapped this brother, fuck his family, they ain't paying the price, yeah. Hey, go.
I'm running down there just to pass. He's going that same down there that was going to be on there.
Yeah, man.
Oh,
You want to get stuck on.
We got one. I ain't finna tell y'all how rock I play with this shit.
That's a guy's path.
Get so high that I get so that motion touch your luck. Cause that's how they can't get up. I need a nigga who acts so tough to say I'm nuts. I pay a couple of niggas to cover my mouth that quick and he got stuck. Before I go up with that 10 mil, he that shit up. Know my folks like damn. I've been waiting.
That's just ass, bro.
We've been on my ass here since they say they shot me.
That's just ass,
with the parties, ain't shit else to say. Nobody turn me up. I make myself the man I am today. So play it safe. My started bad, we hold shit down if you in the way. Get no fuck, we gotta travel, take them switches up out the state. Niggas they scream that murder shit, but they ain't even participate. And I ain't gon' lie, if a nigga take my brothers, bet we increase the rate. Over the internet making posts like you a killer, boy, that shit gay. I know I say I'm flying, cause I be up in the park, that's what we play. I got killers that be in the rack, and I got killers that be in the A. Trying to be, she ain't innocent, but she let me fuck her face, ayy. Chasing down, till they hit the ground. Switch up on my Glock, so when I shoot this bitch, gon' cut the crowd. All them blast from pistol dad, turn that shit to frowns, no leg shot.
I know they got a video to this shit.
From my top, I shoot this bitch and make a big sound. We whack shit, you better ass out up, boy, we don't play around. They so overrated, I just got this nigga. Thought I was in traffic, almost crashing, damn near shot the lift. We be spanking shit.
You're crazy.
That daddy can't get up. I ain't a nigga who acts so tough they say I'm a nut. I pay a couple of niggas to cuff my belt that cut and he got struck. Before I'm going with that 10 mil. There's no business or no business, nigga.
Danielle Terrell Smith. Danielle Terrell.
Listen, I'm in the church. What shit get vicious? Since a nigga been rapping, been living lavish, cause I'm getting money, shit extravagant. Folks who ain't with me know they wish. They met, I stood on all 10 and stay with the pole and stay on the mission. Hey, we ain't gon' speak on that street shit, just know we with it. Cause the whole city know XOB get busy and stand on business. Ask them niggas who act tough and always capping in my mission. So I might spit with Lil J Rock if I catch one. Hey, since I'm deep in the street, no cat and soul chasing that chick. When I speak on that page, shit inside my soul, they say I'm different, like I'm just telling my story. They are facts, I know you feel it. I've been fucked up in the head, just ready to spaz and let him get it. You know a couple niggas was dead, and they turned to school. I shoot like a
I ain't doing shit. Man, I'm out here running up and down this court. I ain't did shit. I got a turnover. I dribbled the ball. I dribbled the ball a couple times, bro. It's the third quarter, dude. Hey. I'm running up and down the court, dude. I ain't did shit. These niggas is not passing the ball, dude. I got one. Bro, I have 0.0 rebounds, 0 assists. Only dribbled the ball a couple times. I got a turnover.
I am crying.
Hey, I'm open.
Damn, Tay, this shit a movie.
Got that heat.
You already know how the fuck I'm coming, man. I'm just trying to reach my people with this music shit. SOB, OD. 2022, my year, man. I'm really still on business. Hey, every day I wake up, I just try to be great. But I can't let them wait on my fans. They was wondering, where's my tape? Badass kid, just hopping the game. I'm still showing love to them niggas who hate. Losing the will, so I just be feeling like killing and cutting off all of the fake. Can't even me and contribute to none of my musical talents. And you don't know what. Had to get to it, I put on my pen in the music. They go with what I gotta say. So I
You see winning shit.
I gotta make it cause I wanna be the one.
I stand in the corner and shoot.
I still a million before, but I never went up in the bank. Ballin' like Shaq, I go hard in the paint, and I know you're front trying to be something.
They going crazy. They going crazy.
Rappers like they know the shit that we living today. They got a voice, but don't speak on the fabrics that's taking out people in all of the states. But I'ma speak on the shit cause I can, and when I don't, I feel like less of a man. How could you call your supporters a fan? I ain't faking shit cause I am what I am. Fucked up my life trying to show my loyalty. My can't let I won't do that again.
I'm trying to go crazy. When I get the ball, I'm not passing it. When I get the ball, I'm not passing that bitch. I better not touch it. I gotta get a rebound or something.
Badass kids just hopping the gate, and I'm still showing love to them niggas who so I just be feeling like killing they got it off all of the fake. Can't even me and contribute to none of my musical talents. You on the way, had to get to it, I put on my pain in the music, they go with what I gotta say.
Hey, 17, number 17 in the corner, number 17.
First up at a place, I'm a young risk taker. I've seen a million before, but I never went up in the bank, never walked in the bank, or catch me a check. Waiting about turning, I told them I'm next. Everybody around me, they wanted to flex. When I could get certain shit on my text, you rocks the odds, better get you a vest. Up in the booth and I'm busting up vex, and I don't like the feel, but the feeling selling the best. Busting my ass ain't getting no rest. Need me a billion before my time. No rapper fucking with me, I'm the best.
Oh shit! Oh! Ah!
And then you gonna do that, dude.
I'm about to cry, dude. I'm about to cry.
So, give your line full coverage with Scott BCC.
Bro, you only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. I blew that bitch.
One of the things I always want to do is work with an artist. From the West Coast. You know what I mean? So I always want to work with an artist on the West Coast.
That's tough.
I think girls will have the conversations. And these ain't no little conversations, these big conversations. Girls are having big conversations and, running into each other, sharing ideas.
That nigga wasn't even holding me no more.
We'll try this partnership.
That nigga left me open.
Our dog Mars into CMG.
Hey! Yo, my thing! Hey!
My brother.
That's that Hell Gang Mars. You tapped into a Nookie episode.
Hey!
Man, slipping through the swamps with the fella.
I'm cold.
So at this point, I want to bring the latest details. We know that the two shootings from overnight are not connected to each other. That's what police are saying. But the latest shooting in Oak Park, they are investigating to see whether that scene could be related to earlier homicides. Another thing that they're investigating for all three incidents is whether this could be gang-related. Dead after an overnight shooting outside of a popular row of restaurants and bars in Midtown Sacramento. The 911 calls came in at around 1 in the morning after shots were fired and a victim was down at the scene. We now know that victim died and the suspect has not been found. This all happened on J and 28th Street.
Ivey and Golston residents here at the South Natomas apartment complex are just on edge after learning that 2 people were killed, were gunned down right there in their parking lot, and that police have not made any arrests.
12 hours. The most recent homicide in the Oak Park area. This happened in just the last hour off 6th Avenue. This comes after 2 other shootings. One at a South Natomas apartment left 2 people dead. The other in the Arden area.
It seems as if though we got an Oakland rapper and some Oakland neighbors who backdooring each other. Just last weekend, in only 12 hours, 4 people who were in Oak Park or near that neighborhood was found deceased. Look, family, most of us already know. But when the person who bring the money to the table is no longer there at the time, like most scenarios, you see cases like this. Hidden jealousy starts to turn into problems within the camp. Even though, just like any neighborhood in inner cities, you have oppositions. But when there's jealousy in the camp, then you gotta worry about that back door. On top of your op, and ops actually paying to open that back door. Man, we're gonna talk about an Oakland rap star, Maz, who is currently incarcerated for a year after turning himself in earlier this year on weapons charges. But with 4 people losing their life in or near his neighborhood over the past weekend in 12 hours, and a division in his own neighborhood, on who they pick sides with, not to mention, they dropped it back to back with that all-close range. Oh yeah, nobody has reportedly fired back, which means to me, in each scenario, it was too comfortable and a back door. So we're going to discuss who, when, where, and how, and not to mention the one common denominator in the story. First, I got to remind y'all.
Bro, I didn't realize you was
going to say it again like he's listening to me, though.
We're going to jump right
in there, back up. Bro, what do you keep saying that for, bro? Okay.
And how he was considered the top dog to the public life of Oak Park. Oak Park is known to be a heavily blood-set neighborhood. Timothy Neil Patterson, known professionally as Mars, is an American rapper from Oak Park. He signed with CMG Interschool Records, Black Market Records. Before we discuss that, he started rapping in 2004 under the name Lil Tim. He eventually changed his stage name to Mozzie in 2003.
Fat Uncle Ted.
2022, during a press conference hosted by CMG in LA,
Uncle
Mozzie
Ted
was officially signed to Yo Gotti CMG label. The news was...
Hey, Uncle Ted.
I always wanted to work with an artist from the West Coast. Still got it revealed on stage.
Yeah, Transformers times 12. I'm just going to get right into it. Ivey, CMG. How did this even come about, brother?
Overdue out the gates. You know, Big Dog been tapping in with me, talking about boy nigga career even really pop. Running me out on the summer jam, lit, same background. Nigga, one of them. You hear me? Arena too. You feel me? So you know that was big. And after that we had conversations. He told me it was a seat at the table. I had to get my life right, and you know what I'm saying, tie up a couple loose ends. I tied fuckers up. We here now.
But some would say, even though Mozzie been in the game for 10 plus years, this was his breakout year in 2022.
I felt him on that.
But he just stated to the public that he did have to tie up some loose ends. And we didn't know until recently that Mozzie had a gun charge that he had to handle prior to even handling any of his success. On July 26, 2022, Mozzie had to turn himself in from a traffic stop that ended badly in January in Los Angeles. Mozzie was pulled over in January of 2021 in LA and cops found a Glock 26 with 16 rounds of 9mm ammunition. According to Mozzie and his rep, he copped out and only doing a year sentence, which means he should be home in late July of 2023. But with only 3 months since Mozzie's presence had been absent in his
what do you do? You just gotta have security.
His friends or his allies and also his opposition,
if you don't got that money like that,
both having the same concern. Last week, Sacramento, California police indicated this message.
Gotta go to jail, bro.
Been shot and also lost their life in Sacramento at 4 different locations since Sunday morning. One of the victims is a teenager who we later won't discuss. 4 of the victims were deceased between late Monday night and Tuesday morning within a span of 12 hours. As of Tuesday evening, the Sacramento Police Department said no one is in custody in connection to any of the homicides.
So with this one, I want to bring the latest details. We know that the 2 shootings from overnight are not connected to each other. That's what police are saying. But the latest shooting in Oak Park, they are investigating to see whether that scene could be related to the earlier homicides. Another thing that they're investigating for all 3 incidents is whether this could be gang-related.
Oh, you think?
My name is Greg, and I live in Philadelphia, and I'm a Republican. J.D. Vance was against Donald Trump, didn't think he was qualified.
Greg, I'm sorry. You didn't have nothing to do with it.
2 people shot and killed in South Natomas, one of them a teenager. Then another person shot and killed in North Sacramento. Sacramento Mayor Darrell Steinberg told KCRA3 this morning his city is living through difficult times.
Some of this is random and it's wrong, and we have to call it out, and we have to hold people accountable when they engage in violent acts of any kind. If we take a life, we have to hold people accountable.
And not even 30 minutes after we finished interviewing the mayor about the 3 earlier homicides, we learned about a 4th, a man shot and killed in Oak Park.
Southside here, you know, I don't come out, walking out here because it's dangerous. You can't walk with your family.
It's heartbreaking, and the community is concerned, and rightly so. I mean, we are concerned, and that's why we're talking about this today. This is unacceptable for our community. And if it sounds like I'm upset and frustrated, I certainly am, and I think that we all should be. Sacramento Police Chief Kathy Lester says she's key to curbing this surge of violence. That means taking
after it started.
Working with community organizations. They respond out to incidents such as these homicides, and they really provide support to the neighborhood, to the families.
I like that fuck guy. Once you in it, you in it.
Is on the 5 people who were shot and killed in Sacramento over the
you gotta move that way all times.
Right now, it's all hands on deck. We have.
You might as well move away at that point.
Home, and our priority really is to investigate these thoroughly, investigate these incidents properly, because we need to find justice for the families that are involved.
Now, before we get into the second shooting, which caused some eyebrows because it was so right away and it followed up with another shooting, we gotta discuss these 2 victims. May they rest in peace. So this is the 17-year-old kid who ended up losing his life over the weekend Instagram page. Remove 6 men. As I scrolled through each post of his 5 posted on Instagram, just last week, he was posted with this guy, who was the 30-something-year-old victim who was deceased in the car next to the 17-year-old. In this photo, you can see them making a facial expression. Now, I don't know if that's a diss towards they op, but they definitely doing it. But as you zoom closer to some of the pictures, they have a chain called MBK both around their neck. And I'm assuming that's a branch off from their game. Even though they so far apart in age bracket. They came to their demise for Oak Park actually threw their trapping net in the parking lot. Investigators say one more person was actually in the car, but they had survived. But before I get into how and when, let's run over something, fam. You see this chain that's on this 17-year-old kid neck? May he rest in peace. It's a chain that's called Trap Guard. Now, I don't know if this is the 17-year-old kid original chain, or that's a chain that's floating on social media after the demise of the 17-year-old kid. But this chain is floating around social media, and it's not being posted by none of his oppositions.
They have a silhouette of Bruce with his hand over his face, on some mocking shit. Also, look at this Trap Guard chain, guys. This chain has made its way around so many necks, and it's something up with this fucking chain.
What makes matters even worse, the people in Oak Park was only showing love, may he rest in peace, to the older gentleman. No one actually took the time out to say rest in peace to the 17-year-old kid. Many people like Caesar Douglas, who's also a member of Mozzie, saying rest up. Another guy who's a part of Mozzie clique had ended up making a post where he's locked up, indicating best up, Thug. You stood on business at all times.
Shot, bro.
I'm putting off my city, man. You know what the fuck I got going on? That's how these niggas catch up, man. It's gone. I mess with TIG. Okay. So in the beginning, you thought it was a game, right? Yeah, they thought it was a game. But now it's going. It's going. You even know how you know what 200 to think is a game. You always going like that. You always going like that. At first, you know, Lucci just was like, building a relationship, you feel me? Now we like brothers, you know what I mean? So he really looking out for me. Like, just having a friend or, you know what I'm saying, a nigga like that around you make you even more, you feel me? Like, I'm really I got a nigga that already made it. I like the Douce.
You like the Douce?
Or Patron. I really like the Patron, but that really Listen, I met this kid from Ohio in the meetings in Atlanta. Best performance, best story. Listen.
Okay. What's up? Like it, it's real neat.
You completed it. You know that? You know, you got your plan figured out. You see how you gonna make the money. You see the light at the end of the tunnel. Do that shit. Let nobody tell you what you can't do. Oh, man, put it on like that weather, man. You gonna get a lot of haters out there that's taking their turn. He's gonna take your turn to fight with it. You might take your body. And for all my other people that think it's too late, it ain't never too late. Those other 10, I'm gone. How you gonna handle it? DeKalb County turns himself in to police today. Yeah, so you get money and then show that. Yeah, if you money, not Kodak. Yeah, that's 23-year-old Kamar Williams, better known as Q-Money, who's being charged with felony murder, accused of shooting fellow musician Calvin Chappelle at a home in Decatur on Monday. And warrant was issued for Williams' arrest that same day. Hey, imagine finding Calvin Chappelle at a home in Decatur. How you gonna handle it? DeKalb County turns himself in to police today. Yeah, so you get money, then show that. Yeah, it's the Q money. Dennis 23-year-old Kamar Williams, better known as Q Money, is being charged with felony murder, accused of shooting fellow musician Calvin Chappelle at a home in Decatur on Monday. A warrant was issued for Williams' arrest that same day.
Hey, imagine finally getting recognition, and you one out of a handful of people that's actually able to get national recognition for your craft. And in this case, it's hip-hop. And 1 year, you start to take over. Life coming at you fast. You beginning to have songs that start to chart. You signed to one of the most up-and-coming record labels during that time frame, which is TIG, which we will later discuss. The CEO of your label come bring out a new chain and introduce you to their label inside of a sold-out arena, inside of your home state, all in the same year. You're only weeks away from doing your own national headlining tour. But then, all I have in the most successful year of your life, tragic news has struck, where you and your best friend end up in another state, and you end up taking his life. Family, we're gonna cover this one. But first, I gotta remind y'all, I don't give you no anger. That's a good story. So with that being said, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. After 3 long years since you've been incarcerated, waiting for a judge to determine how long you're going to spend the rest of your life with the box of life inside of prison. Born December 5th, 1995, Ohio-based rapper Kamar Williams, also known as Q Money. On September 23rd, 2022, reports came out Q Money would be sentenced to life in prison for a 2019 murder in Atlanta, where witnesses said they saw him standing over his best friend with a weapon as he discharged one shot in the head. The person who ended up losing his life, named rest in peace, was another Ohio native. They both was out of state, and word is they was even best friends. Now family, we're going to discuss that. But first, I want to take it back some. I want to take it back to the night of the scene in 2019 outside of the Decatur residence. But in order for us to do that, we got to take 60 seconds and discuss Q Money. In 2016, Q Money would make his music debut. He would utilize SoundCloud and Instagram and build a small fan base. One of his very first songs was a song called First Song Back, which had a couple thousand views, which gave him more encouragement to keep going. The song First Day Back was a song referencing into a drug trafficking case when he served 30 days and won him and his son in 2017. In 2017, he released his most successful single to date, the single Work, which rewarded the rapper a breakthrough he desired. The track excelled over SoundCloud, racking up over millions of plays in little time. The music video, released that summer, has an overall view count of 10 million views. In the wake of his success, record labels came knocking on the door. Q Money was signed with TIG Records and later Warner Brothers. In March of 2018, he released his debut mixtape under TIG, Never Hash, featuring artists including Moneybagg Yo, Rock Belushi, and Moneyman. The project was superheaded by Work, Never Hash, and Count Never Check. Shortly after, Q Money would drop another tape titled Ain't Funny, featuring only artists Keith Glock. The tape highlighted some of the latest hits he had at the time, including hits like Meat and Better Than Me, which combined over millions of views on YouTube. Not to mention, he also performed on a big stage, Summer Jam in 2017. Now fast forward to 2019, the day never changed. Q Money family and him, and also not to mention, may rest in peace the victim and his family, life forever. On April 18, 2019, Q Money was arrested after turning himself in with Calvin Alexandria Chapel. The incident occurred on April 15, 2018. The incident happened at a Decatur, Georgia residence. The victim was an up-and-coming rapper. The suspect allegedly used a handgun to commit the crime. This all went down around 8:30 a.m. Monday at the home of Chopper's cousin in Decatur. That's the person who ended up losing his life, may rest in peace once again. About 10 miles outside Atlanta, according to the police. According to court documents, Q Money was accused of putting one on the right side of his front head. A man in the home told police he heard something that sounded like a shot. He then grabbed his weapon and ran downstairs. A witness had told authorities that they saw Q Money with the weapon inside of his hand, standing over the 24-year-old's body. According to the police report, the man then asked Q Money what happened. Q Money only stuttered, several times, according to the police. The witness then told authorities he ran upstairs and woke up his 23-year-old roommate, which is probably his cousin, telling him Q had done something, according to police reports. The two men ran downstairs and confronted Williams. The
23-year-old man took the weapon from Williams and the two men forced him out the house and locked the door. According to the police report, they called the friend who showed up later with what seemed to be his own weapon. During that time, police had told the public that it was also a home that was equipped with surveillance. Q Money was charged with first-degree misdemeanor gaming violation on March 13th in Cleveland. He is accused of ushering his 14-year-old brother into Cleveland Jack Casino upon security. Q Money didn't show up to court, so on April 11th, an arraignment in Cleveland Municipal Court and a warrant issued. We briefly discussed also he was convicted of the drug trafficking in Cleveland in 2014 and was sentenced to 30 days in jail. The prosecutors also claimed that 7 people on July 26, 2018 were injured in Cleveland, including the one who ended up passing away. At the filming video of Q Money, me.
I had a choice to shoot the video in Miami, Los Angeles, Atlanta. I chose to bring it here to my hometown. I wanted to put my city on the map, spread by the city. I don't need guns in my video. You might see some money in there, but no guns, no violence at all. I'm for a kid.
That was Q Money actually briefly discussing the shoot incident in his music video alongside his son. But now back to the incident that had Q Money currently serving a lifetime sentence in prison. April 18, 2019, Q Money returned himself in.
Murder in DeKalb County turns himself in to police today.
So you get money in return.
Yeah, that's 23-year-old Kamar Williams, better known as Q Money. He's being charged with felony murder, accused of shooting fellow musician Calvin Chappelle at a home in Decatur on Monday. A warrant was issued for Williams' arrest that same day. You know, this is...
And then a little after 3 years, a Georgia judge would give Q Money a lifetime sentence in prison, which prompted Q Money to go to social media the same day it surfaced to say this: "They preyed on my downfall. I just want my story to be heard." Followed up in the caption, tagging other social media outlets, included, "How can you convict someone when tagging evidence?" I was set up. Fact. And that was the story of a Cleveland, Ohio rapper who ended up catching a charge, a murder charge, at the life of his best friend. I would never state how y'all feel about this one. Get in the comments. Let me know. Money. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Once again, RIP to all the victims. Love and prayers and condolences. Until next time, family.
I think my boy from East Cleveland. I think he be on his own, man. He can be on his own, man. I never even heard about that shit till the end. That shit's so good. I mean, it probably would. I ain't seen it yet.
Here with the blink. Hey, here with the blink. Hey, man, check this shit out. I'm wagging shit on him. I grew up to do this shit, man. I don't do this. What the nigga say? No faking. No faking. Yeah, man, this shit for real. Oh, my mama, cat, all you think I'm playing? Cat, I'm gonna show this shit. This shit so real, man, dog.
Yeah, we walked in the store and flipped them, nigga. For real, on Facebook Live.
Not a witness to that shooting said that suspect with that handgun was acting like he was going up to a couple of vehicles out from a car crash in the area. We learned from him that he went up to this woman. He says that she was in scrubs. She was in her car, but she was also getting out, likely to figure out this car wreck situation, and he shot her. So right now we do believe, based on this eyewitness account, that it was someone in the medical profession who was shot here. We have since learned that that person was rushed to the hospital, and we're still, of course, it's an emotional scene.
And East Parkway South, where a male victim was located with a gunshot wound. That's at the BP gas station, as we said. Some people call it the Millennium Food Mart.
You're looking at that shooting right there. That is where the first shooting happened that we reported on this afternoon at 4:35. And then just 1 minute later, officers responded to another shooting on Norris Road near I-240 southbound ramp. Officers located a female victim there with a gunshot wound. She was transported to Regional 1 in critical condition, and they're asking, as we said, for you to be on the lookout for this man. He is 19 years old. We have heard his name, but we are not releasing his name at this time because MPD is not doing so as well.
We also have this just in from our Jessica Gertler, who's reporting that the University of Memphis police are responding to shots fired in the area of Patterson and Southern. That subject, we're told, responsible immediately fled the area. Again, don't know if that's related to this. However, that's something to be aware of. The question is, where is this suspect now? This is who police believe they are after. We're not releasing his name at this point, but we believe he's 19 years old. We're trying to figure out what the motive might be. And again, if he's operating as, in essence, a lone wolf, a lone gunman, an independent operator, as they're sometimes called, independent because they're not acting on the direction of anyone or any group, they're just acting on their own. But this person is believed to be responsible for multiple shootings in just the last couple of hours here.
They do all that about a nigga but these niggas shooting these kids and shit up and teachers in these schools though. They let these niggas go. You feel me? I bet you they kill him when they got him worked.
Area on 3rd Street, pulled out a gun, opened fire on the first person he met in that store, and then got in his car and proceeded to leave.
Man, these niggas gone crazy, family. Today, we got to take it to Memphis, where young teenagers decided to go on a killer spree in broad daylight. And to make matters even worse, he decided to live stream some of the events on Facebook Live. Fam, I can't make this up. We're going to jump into this one, but I got to remind y'all, I don't give you no angle. I just give you the story. So with that being said, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And let's go. And Wednesday, Memphis went into a complete shutdown. And before we get into the story, I got to admit, family, for 2 days back-to-back, Memphis been making national headline news. On Tuesday, reports came out that Nike trailers was ransacked in Memphis. But unfortunately, the following day, some even more sad news has surfaced. On social media platforms, we had this news. On Tuesday, reports came. The Nike trailers was ransacked in Memphis. But unfortunately, the following day, some even more sad news has surfaced. On social media platforms, we had concerned citizens making tweets like this. I posted a video on Instagram. People, please be careful. He's going around shooting random people. Please be safe. People in Memphis, please get out of the public and get to safety now. And the guy they was referencing to as the active shooter out of Memphis was Ezekiel Kelly, a.k.a. Zeke Honcho. So on Thursday, like we mentioned, family, Memphis went into a shutdown for hours. And also, this man went to many states while trying to escape the police during that time frame. Earlier in the day on Wednesday, Memphis Police Department had issued an alert about the shooting, naming the suspect as Mr. Kelly, who was described as armed and dangerous. Also, we already know that unconfirmed copies of the alleged shooting videos on social media showed the individual claiming this is for real and find a gun in the AutoZone store. Other unconfirmed images of Mr. Kelly appeared to show him posing with pistols and dollar bills. Speaking at a press conference on Thursday morning, Memphis found a gun in the auto denoted unconfirmed copies of the shooting, naming the suspect as Mr. Kelly, who was described as armed and dangerous. Also, we already know that unconfirmed copies of the alleged shooting videos on social media showed the individual claiming this is for real and find a gun in the AutoZone store. Other unconfirmed images of Mr. Kelly appeared to show him posing with pistols and dollar bills. Speaking at a press conference on Thursday morning, Memphis Police Chief C.J. Davis said 3 people were injured and 4 people had died, may they rest in peace, as a result of the shooting spree. Before we get a brief rundown of the victim, I select a person.
I did all I could do. 4 for 4. Everybody.
The victims were identified only as
that was a good shot at the end, boy.
Another man and a woman who had her SUV stolen, and another woman.
22 assists.
The injured included a man who police said was in critical condition, as well as another man and a woman.
Got Gotta know how to play a role sometimes, man. You ain't gonna have the ball all the time.
16th of March of 2000.
I did all I could do. 4 for 4.
Months of a 3-year sentence for aggravated assault. The mayor of Memphis, Jumpshot, had this to say. He told reporters that Mr. Kelly had served a full 3-year sentence. He would still be in prison today, and 4 of our fellow citizens would still be alive. Quote, "This is unacceptable. We should not be terrorized." Memphis Mayor Jim Strickland talking about the suspect getting out of jail 11 months into a 3-year sentence for first-degree murder charge, pled down to aggravated assault. It remains unclear if Kelly, who Fox 13 reports suffered injuries in the car chase, had a lawyer or had entered a plea on first-degree murder charges. He was thought to remain in custody after stealing 2 cars across Tennessee and neighboring Mississippi, from where he returned to Memphis late on Wednesday and was apprehended in a police car chase.
Therese Tinsley, we begin with breaking news in Memphis, where a gunman was captured tonight after terrorizing the city, shooting people, apparently at random. Police say he killed 2 people and wounded several others. So far, he is linked to at least 5 shootings and a carjacking. Police identified the suspect as 19-year-old Ezekiel Kelly and say Kelly live-streamed some of his attacks on Facebook. After a 3-hour manhunt, police say they took Kelly into custody after he crashed the stolen car he was driving. Memphis businesses, school events, public transportation all shut down during the search as police warned everyone to shelter in place. Investigators have not released a possible motive. Court records show Kelly had a warrant out for his arrest, but there is no specific information about that at this hour.
These people sick, man. Before we continue, once again, rest in peace to the loved ones that lost their life. Also for the ones that was injured, I pray y'all have a speedy recovery. Very, very unfortunate. But fine, that was the story of a man, of a young teenager rapper, who's been in jail since 16. Come home after having a reduced sentence from murder to aggravated assault. At the age of 19, the same year he's released from prison, threw his life away, throwing a horrendous act like this. And I want y'all to stay safe, family. In the comments, let me know how y'all feel about this one. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch y'all on the next one.
This is the Rivian R1S, the new Rivian SUV. Last year I reviewed the Rivian R... Right, let's start the perks and features, the R1S with the key situation, which is pretty cool because this is your key fob. It looks neat, it's distinctive, and it's also a carabiner, as you can see, which works perfectly with the R1S's adventure lifestyle kind of motif. But that's not your only key, because you can also set up your phone to be used as a key using the Rivian app, and then you can just walk up to the car, it senses you're there, it unlocks, and you don't even have to carry a key with you. Or you can go into the app and unlock the car remotely. And the cool thing is, you can do this from any...
No flip, no cap, no mess. Just grab and squeeze. Try Dawn Easy Squeeze.
Beyond gives you natural and organic options so you can choose what's best for your pet. Beyond, feed with purpose.
You could be in Europe, your car could be in America, you could still unlock and lock the doors if you want to using the app, which is a pretty cool idea. And by the way, using the Rivian app as a key, there are some other kind of cool touches. Like, for instance, you can find your car using Google Maps through the app. As you can see, it tells you exactly where it is. They even have directions for your car in case you lose it. You can also use the app to vent your windows. So on a hot day, you're sitting in your office, you're going to drive home like 20 minutes, you can open your windows in the app and get some air flowing through the car so it's not as hot on the inside, which I've never seen before. Pretty cool feature from an app. But anyway, let's talk about getting into the Rivian. You unlock it, and you can see that when you do that, the door handles pop out from the body, and from there you can just reach inside and pull on them and get the door open, which is pretty standard. Take another look. They're flush with the body, you unlock, and then they're out and you can open the door. And when you do, you discover inside the door panel a flashlight. This little piece here is a hidden flashlight that you can can take out and turn on and use just like a flashlight. Or
that's
you
dope.
stick it right back inside the door. And that's not the only hidden portable thing in this car. You also have a speaker located at the bottom of the center console down here. This is a speaker. You can pull it out and then use it like a speaker. Set it up at your campsite, play music,
that's dope.
and all that stuff. And when you're done, you stick it right back in the base of your center console and it charges. So it's always charged and it's always there. A portable speaker built into your room.
That's dope.
I don't want to go too far into the interior of the R1S just yet. In fact, I first want to cover the exterior. So I'm going to lock the doors. You can see the door handles fold back in, and the car makes a little bird tweeting sound when you lock the door. It's very difficult to hear, but take a listen.
Hey.
Well,
the lights
personally, I love this sound. As opposed to a loud, annoying horn honk, the bird tweeting sound is almost natural. You can't really tell it's there unless you're listening for it, and it's a pretty cool idea. But outside the R1S, we gotta talk through styling because, frankly, I love how it looks. As a fan of boxy SUVs, I got my Land Rover Defender, my Mercedes G-Wagon, my Toyota Land Cruiser. I love the boxy stuff, and automakers don't make vehicles. You gotta talk through styling because, frankly, I love how it looks. As a fan of boxy SUVs, I got my Land Rover Defender, my Mercedes G-Wagon, my Toyota Land Cruiser. I love the boxy stuff.
He got a lot. He got a lot.
Make vehicles like that anymore. But the R1S is that.
He got 5 million viewers on this. I mean, he got 5 million subscribers. He get 1 million views every video. He was
played out generic teardrop shape that so many other electric cars have. Here's a boxy, tough, cool-looking SUV, and it's fantastic. It's also not that big. A lot of people think the R1S is absolutely massive because the R1T pickup truck is quite large, but the R1S is a lot smaller, 17 inches shorter than the R1T, for a total length of around 200.8 inches. That makes this only about 2 inches longer than a Ford Explorer and just short of a BMW X7. So this is about in between sort of a mid-size and a large SUV, and it's nowhere near the size of a Suburban or Tahoe or other massive full-size SUVs, like you might think based on the size of the pickup. It's certainly smaller than that. And by the way, for the off-roaders among us, the smaller size compared to the truck means better angles. You get a shorter wheelbase, so there's a better breakover angle in the SUV, and a shorter rear overhang, so a better departure angle. The R1T pickup truck is tremendously capable off-road, and this should be even more. Well, anyway, next up, one key difference between the R1S SUV and the R1T pickup truck is, of course, a cargo area and passenger space instead of a pickup truck bay. So let's talk through that cargo area, starting with the tailgate itself. You can pop it open by pressing the tailgate button, the key button, and then it opens itself up automatically, although you'll notice that even when it's open, you then have more tailgate. That's because this is a two-piece tailgate, and you can open the lower part separately, which I love, because it means you can sit on this lower tailgate and have a nice little picnic and use it as a bench. This is a fantastic feature. I have it in my Toyota Land Cruiser. I use it all the time, and I love that Rivian has added it too. It's very cool. But let's talk through the cargo area. You open this up, and the first thing you notice is seats back here, a third row of seats. In fact, that is standard on all R1S models. They all have 3-row seating. And you can see there's even some cargo space behind the third row, which is actually pretty good. Decent sized space back here. In case you're looking for even more space, you can lift up the cargo floor and see there's 2 perks and features back here. For one thing, over on the side, you slide this panel and it reveals a power outlet, both a household outlet, if all, or a bicycle tire, or the tires to your Rivian. So if you go off-roading, you can air down using this air compressor to make it easier to crawl over rocks, and then air back up, plug it in there, and then you can start airing up and down using the compressor.
Get great deals no matter where you order Kroger pickup. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
This is Myra's Clean Day, inspired by the garden, which is right in your home.
Also cool back here, you have these little cargo tie-downs that slide forward and backward, so you can keep your cargo from sliding around, which is nice to have. Now, as for getting the seats down, a few ways to do this. The third row seat folds with these latches. Plastic latch here, you just pull it, push the seat down, and it folds. You do that on both sides, and then you have the third row down and extra cargo space. If you want to fold the second row seat, you have little buttons over on the side of the cargo area. You press that, and then the seats automatically fold forward, as you can see, again, one on each side, and then you have a massive cargo storage space back here where you can stick stuff. Now, one incredibly cool thing with all the seats folded down, you'll notice there's a little hump in the floor, which could be a little bit annoying, but this cargo floor panel can be removed and positioned perfectly to eliminate that hump and create a totally flat floor. Rivian says the thinking there is, if you want to sleep inside your R1S, like when you're camping, well, now you have a totally flat floor to make it more comfortable to sleep on. And it gets even better because this R1S has something called camping mode, which will level the vehicle. It's accessed in the infotainment system, and it uses the air suspension to perfectly level the vehicle, even if you're parked on non-level ground. It'll raise up one wheel, lower another wheel, and make sure everything is exactly perfect. So the interior is level, even if the suspension on the outside isn't, which also helps you camp on a flat surface. A very cool idea. Now, unfortunately, one big drawback to the cargo area and seat situation is it's rather difficult to get the seats back into place. The only way to get the third row back up is by using those same latches that you use to fold them down, which are now folded forward and very much out of reach for pretty much anybody. You have to either climb into the cargo area or go around to the back seats, the second row, and lift the third row up from there. It's not really incredibly practical. Same deal with the second row seats. You have to fold them manually from the second row in order to get them back into place. That's a little annoying, especially at this price point, $85,000, $90,000. Most other vehicles at this price point have power folding up and down seats. Not only does this not have power folding seats, it's actually quite difficult to get the third row back into place. Definitely a miss if you're folding and unfolding your seats often. But let's keep talking about seats, because I suspect that's going to be a big reason why people buy the R1S, especially back seats to use as a family SUV. So this second row, the rear seats, got decent room. Not huge. I don't have a ton of room to spread out back here, but I do have good, acceptable leg and knee room for a tall adult and great headroom in the back. So you do have space back here. You also have in the center back here a touchscreen which controls a variety of different functions, specifically climate controls, temperature and where the air is coming out. You can also turn on your heated seats back here, and even the dome light is controlled through this screen. Now right below the screen you can see two USB-C ports for charging, which is nice to have. And more USB-C ports located on the backs of the front seats. You can see here, USB-C, and there's a clip. The thinking there is you can use it with some accessory to get an iPad clip to that, so your children can watch in the back seat while the iPad is plugged into that USB-C port right behind it. Also in back, you can see you have cup holders. If you pull down the center armrest, there they are, so rear passengers have a place to put their drink. But you might be wondering about third row access, especially given that miss in terms of third row folding and unfolding. Did they also screw up access to the third row? The answer is no, they did not. Access to the third row is really easy. You push a little button on the side of the second row seat, it folds forward and slides forward. It creates a little path where you can get into the third row. Quite simple, just like pretty much every other SUV. And by the way, also worth pointing out that the second row seats are adjustable. You can slide them forward or backward to increase legroom or decrease legroom and increase third row legroom. And you can also adjust the backrest. This little lever on the side lets you change the angle of that, so you can adjust these seats for more comfortability. As for the third row, it's pretty small, which you'd probably expect given this is about the size of a larger mid-size SUV. Not a huge third row, but it's there. Children will sit in it, and they will be fine. Nothing especially exciting in the third row. You do have a couple climate vents back there, which is nice. You also have a couple cup holders back there, which is nice. Probably the main benefit is that it has its own dedicated sunroof, which is kind of cool, although it doesn't open. It's just a glass panel, but at least it's there. A lot of automakers don't bring their sunroofs to the third row. They do with a Rivian. As for the rest of the roof, you have one giant glass panel over the front and second row seats. Massive panel, no crossbar in the middle, and you get a great view out into the world, although it doesn't open. It's just a big fixed panel, and you can see through it, but you can't open it to get the wind in your hair. But anyway, next, let's move up front where all the magic happens, I guess. Anyway, you get inside. One of the first things you discover sitting in the driver's seat, there is no start-stop button, which is common on some EVs. You get in, it knows you're in the car, you put your foot on the brake, and that wakes it up, and then it's ready to go, and that's your start-stop button. You don't have a traditional button. Now, one of the other things you notice when you first get in this car is the materials, which are, I would say, nice, although not ultra high-end luxury SUV level. It's nice in here. You got your stitched leather and some nice black wood. It looks pretty good, but the materials definitely aren't on par with the top from Range Rover or other ultra high-end luxury SUVs. The very best Mercedes GLS models, they'll look a little bit nicer than the Rivian. This is a little bit more utilitarian, a little bit more functional rather than beautiful, and not quite on the level of some of those super luxury SUVs. And in fact, another thing you'll notice when you look around this interior is it's kind of minimalist. While some luxury SUV rivals have adornments and leather and all sorts of trim everywhere, this is kind of basic. Very few controls, switches, buttons. It's all pretty minimal in here, and it's more about screens. And the center screen is God. This center infotainment touchscreen does everything in this vehicle, including, for example, adjusting your mirrors. You want to adjust the mirrors? You go into this screen, find the adjust the mirrors spot, and then you can use the little controls on the steering wheel to adjust the mirrors. The left control will adjust the left mirror, as you can see, and it corresponds exactly to what you want to happen. And the right control will adjust to the right mirror, and that's how you adjust your mirror. Same deal with the steering wheel. You adjust that through the screen. Tap on the screen for adjust steering wheel, and then once again you use those controls on the wheel to actually make the adjustment. You don't have dedicated controls outside the screen like in so many other cars.
Al from Ohio. I'm a conservative. J.D. Vance, to me, is a California ass kisser. He's got no substance behind him other than money. J.D. Vance is a phony. He's looking for power now, and he feels like jumping on the Trump train will get him that. I will be voting for Jim Ryan this November. He understands what's important today to improve the lives of the Ohio citizens.
In fact, this screen also integrates all climate control functions, including just moving the climate vents. Take a look at this. You go into the climate section, and this is how you adjust the position of the vents. If you want it to be aimed more towards the driver, the passenger, you do all of that in the screen. You even turn on and off individual vents in here. You tap on it, it's off, and then air is no longer blowing on you. Tap again, and it's back on. You don't have little sliders or dials or switches on the vents themselves like you do in basically every other car. Now, one other cool thing in the climate control section of the Rivian infotainment screen, you have a pet mode. You can turn on pet mode, and that will keep the car cool on the inside even after you've locked it and walked away. So if you want to leave your dog inside the car when you go into a store, you can do that. The dog will stay cool even if you're shopping, which is kind of neat. Now, it's worth pointing out you do have a few climate control shortcuts on the main home screen, so you don't have to go into the climate tab for every little thing. You can change your climate temperature here, turn on your heated or cooled seats, and you have your front defogger and rear defroster all integrated here, one touch, so you don't have to go into a menu to find them. But beyond the climate controls and simple interior adjustments, this screen also does a lot of very cool and rather interesting things. For example, there is a car wash mode that you can activate by using the screen. And when you do that, it makes sure that the auto wipers don't go on if you go through a car wash, and it locks up the charge port door, so if you spray that with a high-pressure hose, it won't think someone's trying to open it and pop open. Your car wash mode makes sure you won't have any issues. There is also a show and tell mode, which is really cool. You can turn that on, and it will keep the infotainment screen and all the exterior lighting on for 30 minutes. That way, if you want to demonstrate the Rivian to your friends or neighbors or whatever, you don't have to constantly keep coming back in, putting your foot on the brake to turn it on just to show people how it works. You can leave it in show and tell mode, which is great for someone, for example, filming YouTube videos demonstrating the car. Another thing you can turn on in the center screen is the gear guard system, which is effectively a security system to make sure that your Rivian stays safe. Specifically, it'll use all of the exterior cameras as security cameras, and when your car is locked and gear guard is activated, if someone comes up and bumps it or tries to break in, the gear guard will record that happening, and then you can watch those clips and identify a perpetrator. you will notice the gear guard system is accompanied by this fuzzy little cartoon creature wearing a headband. That is intended to make the gear guard seem a little more fun, since security and cameras seems a little surveillance-y. They wanted to make it more fun and lovable somehow, and so you have the little gear guard cartoon figure to do that. Next up, another thing you can configure in this all-knowing center screen is the drive mode that you're in, and you can see several different options. Regular, or they call it all-purpose, plus sport, conserve, off-road, towing, and there are more options when you go into these options. For instance, in off-road, there are several different off-road modes, including a drift mode for maximum fun off the pavement, and a new soft sand mode in case you take your Rivian off-roading on the sand that'll optimize your driving for that condition. You can also use this drive mode screen to raise or lower the suspension in the Rivian, and changing the suspension heights is truly impressive in this vehicle. It goes from like 8 inches of ground clearance in its lowest setting, 7-8 inches, something like that, to 15 inches of ground clearance in its highest, which is not only doubling the ground clearance, but it's giving you an enormous amount of here's a very, very quick setup video of the Rivian racing in its lowest settings is very high. Next up, another cool item all on that screen. I already showed you camping mode where a level suspension can make flat here, but there's another cool camping item that is called Camp Privacy. If you turn that on, you almost can be more primitive. So make sure the lights don't turn on, the automatic locking doesn't turn on all the time, and it'll even turn down the climate control to be a little quieter. And that way, if you're sitting at a campsite, you won't disturb people around you. It's kind of a neat idea. Finally, beyond this center screen, will do pretty much everything. Other than 10 features in this interior. One is the hazard light. It's mounted on the ceiling using an actual physical button like you in the car. That is a government mandate. You can't integrate the hazard light in the street. To be a button and send it in. So another physical control in here, as I showed you before, are the steering wheel controls. You want to label because you're doing different things. You always want to control your news and your steering wheel position. You want to in your default setting, the controls over on the left change your stereo. So the slider goes up and down for volume, and then left and right will adjust your stereo track and your radio. If you hold down this left or right control, it also adjusts what you're seeing on the left part of the driver's view in front of you. So you can see it'll show like a tripodometer or your tire pressures or a map, and you can cycle through those as you want. Over on the right side, this adjusts your adaptive cruise control situation in this car. So the little slider up down can change your following distance based on the car in front of you, and then left right will change your speed. A little tap increases or decreases by 1 mile an hour, or hold it down to increase or decrease by 5 miles an hour. And by the way, the adaptive driver assist auto steering cruise control system here is fantastic. I don't know what Rivian calls it, Tesla calls it autopilot. Here, it works great. It's in your lane, slows down, speeds up, comes to a stop, and it's just great. Exactly how you want it to be. And the steering wheel is at the top, and you can direct your hand on the steering wheel, and the car will basically drive for you. You don't have to like tap it or spin or whatever to let it know you're doing. The automatic will not do lane changes though. You put on your turn signal, you still have to change lanes yourself, but otherwise, the driving on the freeway is one lane with great driver technology. Really. Next up, a lot more pointing out in this interior. In the center console here, this is a wireless phone charger. It doesn't have all these warnings like some brands. It's just a simple pad that you put your phone there and it charges. And the base of the pad, the little design, has these little Rivian logos. So this pad is useless. Another item worth pointing out, over on the left side of the screen, you have a stop coming off, which is, well, actually, it's a lot of stuff. For one thing, it's your turn signal. And annoyingly, is when you on the turn signal, the stop goes back to its central position. You don't really know if your signal is on or not, and it can't be any harder, and at the switch, push it down, and stay down, like every other phone. But that's this stop also integrates your rear wiper, your front wiper, your window washers, and your headlight. So wiper controls have something. You move this to a switch, and then it shows you on the screen the different things that you can select in terms of wiper control. It's the same deal with headlights, which is also a little quick on the shot. You move that up or down, and once again, it comes on the screen to show you what position your headlights are actually in. Everything is integrated into that car. Now, interestingly, in terms of storage of this interior, you do not have a glove box, which is unusual. It doesn't area is kind of cool. Not only is it there, like in most cars, but you can pull it out if you want to access something more easily, and then put that in. So these are stored in here, even without a glove. If it's more storage you're after, you can find it up front, because the interior's front end of the R1S is essentially a giant front trunk, and you can access it in several different ways. There's the button on the center screen you can use to open the front trunk. You can use your key fob. There's a little rubber button here you can press to have it open, or you can do it on your phone using the Oblivion app. I have to open Oblivion. Wait a second, and then it pops right open. That just did that on my phone, which is pretty cool. Anyway, once it's open, you can see it is a pretty big cargo storage area in here, and actually it gets even bigger because you can fold the floor back and then fold it up, and it magnetizes itself to the side of the storage area, and then you have even more storage in here where you can stick even more stuff. That's a pretty big, usable, practical front trunk, and with so many ways to open it, it's not like you have to hold on flat like in some cars. You just tap a button everywhere, and it's open, and it's more storage. If you want to close the front trunk, you can do it from all of those places I showed you before, including the phone. I will tap close mode, and then it comes right down again. Just control that from the phone. And now let's talk about the front end, which is certainly unusual. The only part of the R1S design I don't like is the way it looks up front. You have this light bar going across these two weird oval lights. This frankly looks like a basic. The way these lights function is kind of unusual. The headlights are not actually the oval front figures. Instead, the headlights are inside the oval than here. The ovals themselves have two purposes. Number one, there's a running. You're driving around, the ovals are lit up, and look, or you put a turn signal, and when the oval lights up as a turn signal, then it has a you also have this light bar going across and also it look, and when you're charging, it lights up the green to let you know that the charger is working and the remaining part is and it's a cool look, the light bar will turn green and you're charging. Now, speaking of charging, that's also done through the front end. The little charge port door is integrated here. Just the front fender, you really wouldn't notice it, but that's what it is. To open it, you have these three little lines that are here, and you activate your cap. Press that, and then the charge port door opens up automatically. And when you're done, just press on those three lines again. The charge port door closes again. And you're all set. And by the way, speaking of the front of the R1S, worth pointing out that the R1S and the R1P are exactly identical in the front, all the way up until the back of the front door. The two vehicles are unchanged, exactly the same truck and SUV, except for two very minor differences. One is this little silver strip at the top of the windshield, the top of the windows going around the entire vehicle. The truck doesn't have that, the SUV does. So if you're looking at it from the front, you see the silver strip, it's an SUV. Also, the SUV offers a different color roof. See, here it's black, even though the gradient is red. Again, the truck doesn't offer that, only the SUV. So if you see a different color roof in the body, and then you know you're looking at the SUV. That's something outside the window. More interesting things to cover. For one thing, roof racks, which are normally difficult to install, take on, take off, and most parts from here, incredibly easy. See, right now the R1S doesn't have roof racks, but you can add them right here. All you gotta do is put them into the little roof rack with fingers on the roof. They clip in, you go to the other side, you do the same thing, and then you have one crossbar with two holes for which is on the roof. You can have another crossbar, either closer or further depending on what you want. The cool thing here is installation is incredibly easy, and even a very simple crossbar that you go over the bed in the Oblivion truck. So you don't have to be a hand truck, you just get a crossbar. Also, worth pointing out, this R1S has all-terrain tires. You can see how these tires they don't go off-road, but you don't have to do those. This also offers a standard road tire and a sport tire. I mean, after many vehicles offer a sport tire and an all-terrain tire, plus the R1S. And then, since you look at the R1S offering, let's talk generally about the R1S. Starting with prices, I have been saying it starts around $85,000. For the Explorer model, which is an outfit. Right now, the only one to order is the Adventure model, which actually starts around $91,000. It's a little bit more expensive. This pricing is not true, however, of the original R1S deposit. If you want to think of the deposit, months or years ago, your price was were in the $17,000 range. They've jacked it up since then for people who are buying these cats. But for early depositors watching a lower price, it's pretty cool. Now, all the prices I'm discussing is for the quad motor model. That's this one, which literally has 4 motors going through wheel, which makes it 835 horsepower and 908 pound-feet-of-torque. Unbelievable numbers. But obviously, with all that power jacks up the price point. Olivia says a dual motor version will be coming out in the future at around 600 horsepower and presumably a lower entry point. But for now, if you're only getting a quad motor model with huge power, all-wheel drive and speeder, 0 to 60 takes 3.2 seconds. Unbelievable acceleration. And it can tow around 7,700 pounds. You can also pull stuff with it. And then, of course, the all-important range number, 316 miles of range, was pretty good. Although you won't be getting that if you're constantly doing 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds. Dominic driving the Rivian R1S. First things first out there. So fast. Faster than any vehicle has any right to be this size. Amazingly quick. Forward. It is really quick. And the thing that I think is so impressive about this vehicle is it does everything. I remember when I started this channel, I reviewed like an X5M. I didn't talk about how amazing it was that it does everything. And now here I am reviewing this, and it does everything even more than that. For example, this is unbelievably fast. There's something like 3.2 seconds. I think that's like ultra supercar turbo. I think that's like faster than a Ferrari Enduro 30D. That's a 3-row SUV and a 3-row electric SUV. I mean, 5 years ago, an electric car with some weird little edge that catch that. Now you've got a 3-row SUV out racing a Ferrari Enduro. What is this over there? And yes, the back is also an off-roading legend. I off-roaded with this truck, right? And I did this video where I found this crazy ride that everybody thought was so insane, and it did, and it was like fine. This is even more capable off-road. It has even better angles, right? Over the compartment. It is just insane. So you're driving around this vehicle that accelerates like a supercar, but it can off-road better than this Jeep. And you're through seating, and run all the latest internal modern tech. This is it. This is the confidence driven. This is the car that everybody wants. Because there's nothing you can want to do than this doesn't. Now, that's not entirely true. There are a couple of things that the R1S can't do, but it's easier to talk about stuff it can't do than stuff it can. Jaden, number one, handling is fine, but it's not like amazing. The other 5M is a better handler, the steering is better, etc. It's a heavy car, it's a big car, and you can feel that, and that is the difference between this and like a true performance SUV that's a little bit more fun on the pavement. The other big thing you just can't do, ultimately, it's not like a super high-end luxury vehicle. I recently drove a Mercedes-Benz Q2S, that's a fantastic luxury car, that's also an electric car. This is not on that level. It doesn't have the level of luxury. The ride comfort, the seating comfort, the material quality, but not like that. Now, I want to point out, this is a price that's it's amazing to think that a $91,000 plus SUV is not going to be ultra-luxury here in the business anymore. Your Range Rovers are in the $150,000 to $200,000 range for the nice ones. This isn't that level. It's still going to be that level of interior, but usually it's not the ultra-luxury. Other than that, this can do it all. It can put your whole family, get your out-of-town through the car, it's amazing technology, great driver assist features, to drive on the freeway, steering, all that stuff that does for you. Incredibly good at that. Off-roading. And obviously it's efficient. That's another big difference between this and the X5M. That's a big V8 probably gets called on beyond the report. This is an efficient vehicle because it's electric. It's not the most efficient electric car, but it's far more efficient than any gas car. And it's amazing. It's amazing to do it all. And I love the truck that this has brought us here. I talked to people that about the more popular, and they said the SUV by far. Everybody wants the SUV. Everybody brings the SUV. And now here it is. And you have all the great benefits of the electric car, sport car, and off-road, and a high-tech vehicle, and a family SUV all in one. And it's just hard to... One of the things I want to put out about the driving experience one, the ride is a little rougher than I expected. I felt that way about the truck too. It feels a little bit more for sport than for comfort, and you feel that even in day-to-day driving. Going over speed-bumps, etc., it feels a little rougher than you would maybe want for an MTV. I wouldn't call it a deal breaker, but it's a reality. I'm also a little disappointed in the camera system in this car. The reverse camera quality is not very good, and also there's no front camera. There's no way to camera photos in some modern electric vehicles. You can camera photos here. I think that feels a little better in terms of camera technology. It is a little bright, and I have a lot of little lights on a lot of cars. The big fault that they do and so that's the Rivian R1S SUV. This vehicle is very impressive, and it could be great if you're looking for an all-electric family SUV, or an off-roader SUV, or a sports car SUV, or a high-tech SUV, or some combination of all of the above. The R1S can do it all, and it's priced for it too. Anyway, now it's time to get into the Rivian R1S. A jump score. And the jump score is here, 74 out of 100, which means the Rivian R1S is now the new jump score champion, tying with a 44, the all-time greatest jump score ever. Now, it's faster in straight line than supercar, but it has the speed of passing its turbo area with 75. This high-end technology that runs the best for Mercedes-Benz and Tesla, but it will still on the music with some people who that's all around the car and everything.
Yeah, at one point we had to basically stop everything.
Rocketman drop on the green. Rocketman got 2 minutes. Rocketman fly to Japan. Rocketman get on the land. Rocket, man. Rocket, man. Rocketman, Rocketman, Rocketman. Rocket, man. Rocketman never out of gas. Rocketman move to the back. Rocketman move to the back. Rocketman move to the back. Rocket, man. Rocket, man. Rocketman, Rocketman, Rocketman. Rocket, man. Rocketman racks in my pocket, man. Diamonds
have the car sold, we have that is deployed by, let's say, 100 years. So then the roof needs to go up 100 years. So this way we can keep it low and also keep the age point low down to the center of gravity of the car. We can have a better driver. So the battery is put in the car, so in a way that it's designed that part of it is in the footwell, part in the background, and then it's behind the seat. This also allows us with the inboard motors that keep the mass quite close to the center of the tank, which of course is the low center of gravity, low power display with the mouse. Very sleek. We managed to do that because we have really, really strong doors. So basically the targets for the crash structure of the crash that and we managed to do quite a lot of it. And by doing these kinds of doors, doing that kind of monocle, basically allow the passenger to get in and out of the car. City going up, so you better buzz. When it's you really wanna everybody tough, so they gotta go and see it. Better hush, never growing up. All I wanted was to be wanted me to get a little bread. Still outside, I don't hide from it. For life, had to fight for my life. Took them hits and stride. If I for the guys, and my candlelight going up like the club. After that, go slide. Are you with that? I won't get back. I'm going about. Are you with that? I won't big racks, I'm gon' fuck, I'm gon' stack. Are you with that? Depending on the model, but also we have it with an air brake. So when you're braking hard from a higher speed, it jumps in the highest position to keep the stability of the car, stability of the vehicle.
And then the top of the now, do you is there a special key? Is that just always available?
That's the special event. So the car is limited to 219 miles an hour.
Warriors, but they live in the sky. I never seen a Gucci watching my future. Sign of the times, and God whispered in my dream, shouted, open your eyes. I got so much more in store for you that can't touch what's mine. Pack my whole life's precious moments in a line and shout and singing my songs. At least she know what's on my mind. She know what's on my mind. All eyes on me.
As you can see,
I won't know my freedom.
Everything is connected to driving of the car.
Got a $20 bill, get your hands up. Survived last year, get your hands up. I know that money tight, give me check like I should stand some, but we gon' ball for the night. Yeah, I said it.
While all the other
gotta let them know. Probably need a hook.
Let's say this is
No, trying to find a way to make a Dollar Tree shake. These blind, these fake. Still alive, now we just rehabilitated. Talking down, but I still flex. Snakes in the grass, but I still step. All eyes on me. Working magic with that BPD. Mama, I ain't made it to you, put your 9 to 5. I was on the road when I found out my uncle. That's a lot of sleep, I know we should've talked more. I work so hard, I can't forget this is all for. Find a way to get even, train. Don't need pain to make it real. Don't need no one to make it day how I feel. I've been really in the business, being real, like the diamonds don't dance. Chain of command, Silicon Valley bosses, rocking Dockers and Vans. Wild break for the fans, call me back if your friends. I'm barefoot, walking through the brick, $1,000 place. You tryna stay cool with your deal, put your hands up. Speaking up, it's up to you, get you up. I'm getting tired, but I know that nothing necessary, the reason to survive. I realize it's all eyes on me, but it's busy, looking for the change. I've got a family to feed, and I don't plan on never stopping. Tryna outwork my day, run them bands up. If you take care of your people, put your hands up. Yeah, you know the vibe, this is real life. And can't nobody tell me I ain't ballin' for the night. All eyes on me. I want all my freedom. Tired of honey on my face.
For example, in brake
Call
mode,
out a $100, got a $20 bill, get your hands up. Survived last year, get your hands up. I know that money tight, just give me check like I should stand some, but we gon' ball for the night.
Then as you go up in modes, we open up the envelope for available power, also traction control. So when you go into, let's say, cruise or sport, it's a little bit closed down. So if you punch the accelerator when you go into the corner, it's not going to send you the It's going to stay exactly where you want the car to stay. If you put it into track mode, it's going to give you a hint what's happening with the car. So it's going to start understeer, reversing a little bit. And then, of course, drift mode is, as you know, if you have the confidence to do it, you have the track. It's not a track car, it's a GT hypercar, but it can perform quite well.
Well, you know, I kind of liken it to the F1 30 years ago. Yeah. It was designed as a race car. We got a race car for the road. What you know about rolling down in the deep when your brain goes numb, you can call that mental freeze when these people jump too much, but then in slow motion, yeah. I feel like an astronaut in the ocean. What you know about rolling down in the deep when your brain goes numb, you can call that mental freeze when these people jump too much, but then in slow motion, yeah. I feel like an astronaut in the
the law is basically a rules of the car. You need to have speed limit to make it to driver to get a little bit of plus you don't have
Sleeping again, saying no more. This is a rude awakening, kicking